Diane Aaron Troy, Diane Abraham, Rabbonim, lords and ladies, the worshipful, the Mayor of Barnet and Mayoress of Barnet, hosts, awardees, honoured guests, and friends. As I sat down to write this speech, I was reminded of a rabbinical colleague of mine. He does sermons every week. And one week he's sitting there writing, and his daughter comes over to him and says, "Daddy, how do you always know to say all these brilliant words?" So he says, "You know what? What I do is I look up to God and pray, and he just sends me the most amazing words." So she turned to him and said, "If God sends you all those amazing words, why do you keep crossing them out all the time?" So I thought tonight, instead of speaking about lots of words, I'd focus on one word. And that one word is pride. Pride in who we are as a people, pride in what we represent in this room, and pride in what we have collectively achieved and are committed to carrying through. It feels like just yesterday that we had Seder night. That's a night when we renew our collective commitment to the great journey that began when God showed us that right will ultimately overcome might, that hope can triumph over cynicism, that humans armed with a faith in the future can overcome the oppressive odds of today. It's a night when we reaffirm the ultimate pledge first made by our ancestors to pass the heritage on from generation to generation. We stand together thousands of years later and take pride in the fact that our people introduced so many of today's values to humankind, that the nation that withstood the bitterest of persecution never became bitter but remained full of hope, that the nation that was crushed time and again never sought to crush others but to reaffirm life where there'd been death. We can be proud of a nation that has seen empires come and go, outlasted threat after threat, and never lost faith in humanity. That is the pride that we share together and that we are here tonight to pass on to the future. And I want to take pride also in being part of this special group of nearly 500 people who have joined together tonight. British Jewry, like so much of world Jewry, faces a demographic challenge. It's a community that numbered some 450,000 just after World War II. Properly, there ought to be over 1 million Jews in this country today. Instead, there's just over 250,000. That means somewhere we lost 750,000 Jews. But tonight we're in this room because we've not given up. And we can be proud to count all of you a part of this incredible family of Aish UK. We are committed to sharing the wisdom, depth and beauty of our heritage and translating it into a language of the young Jews of today to show them that they do not need to make a choice between being faithful, committed and proud Jews and being faithful, committed and proud members of modern society. 20 years of high-impact educational trips run to Israel, Poland, and actually also to Jewish communities all over the world, sometimes New York or South Africa, have had enormous effect. Most of you are already aware of the tremendous impact of those programs. However, over the years, we've evolved from maybe a one-size-fits-all approach. We've done deep data analysis to understand what types of approaches work best with different types of young Jews and have begun to integrate those approaches into the work we do every day. As time moves on, like every organization, new challenges emerge all the time. And there are 5 areas we've adapted and are upgrading in order to be better even in the future. And I want to share those 5 with you tonight. The first is our engagement with parents. Because our work is primarily with young people, sometimes parents feel left behind on the journey or aren't sure what we're doing. And I want to make sure that we communicate to every single one of our parents our message to them, which is this. We see parents as potentially our biggest partners. The very letter parent actually spells the word partner. The home is the framework of the transmission of Judaism. Informal education allows youngsters to explore the why of being Jewish, but in the end it's the harmonization of the two of them that is the greatest guarantor of our continuity. Second, we've developed a collaborative approach to working with other organizations. Apart from avoiding wasteful duplication, Partnership can allow for the magnification of impact. If we take a Poland trip of sixth formers, but bring their Jewish studies teachers onto the trip, that changes the classroom, and it changes the way the follow-up works, and it changes the holistic experience that these students have. But apart from just schools, today we're working with other outreach organizations, shul bodies, communal infrastructure across the board, and we believe that we've already seen hugely beneficial outcomes. It is no coincidence then that Aish UK was at the heart of the creation of two massive communal partnership-based initiatives in recent years. The Aleinu Conference, which is the largest national gathering of rabbis and Jewish educators, and Shabbat UK, of which I was honored to be able to be chairman. Thirdly, we must increase the involvement of our own students and their peers in shaping their own learning space. Peer-led learning alone is notoriously flimsy and unsustainable, but top-down programming is not enough in an age of collaborative processes. The next innovative, informal programs will be formed by partnership of educators and their students. Aish has always had an ethic of partnership and leadership, and it is this we are re-engaging to bring about the next transformations. Fourthly, our engagement with social media. It's no secret that millennials are natives to the virtual world, and social media is the arena in which they learn about the world. It's an environment dominated by American college students, wonderful though they are, but they're frequently hostile to religion, hostile to tradition, and hostile to the state of Israel. So we have to dramatically enhance our own social media presence and take the voice of Judaism, proud Judaism, a proud support of Israel, into the world where the young people engage. Through the use of sophisticated analytics and experimentation, we've already begun that process of significant engagement. And fifth, our lay leadership and governance, even more critical with the new scrutiny that charities face. I'm proud that we've recently appointed or about to appoint some first-class trustees. Jeremy Newman, Adrian Cohen, Anthony Marshall, and Simon Fine. That's Manchester Simon Fine. Have already officially joined or are joining, and we hope to make at least one more public announcement in the near future. All I can say for now is that she will make an excellent addition to the team. Lay professional leadership, however, is crucial because we are asking you to show confidence in us, and we know that we must be faithful custodians of your trust, and that is what I pledge tonight. But lay leadership is about more than just governance and fundraising. We've learned that our leaders and many of our supporters, you, can have a tremendous impact on our students as well. And many of you here tonight have already become a big part of our education, whether it's in the next program for sixth formers, Genesis on campus, or Aish in the city. So these are challenging times, but they are also incredibly exciting times. And so I return to that word pride. Tonight, we can be justifiably proud of all that Aish has achieved over the past years and decades. We can be proud of a team of educational superstars and superb support staff, and of students who are engaged with us, who have collectively begun to embrace these changes that will hopefully transform the way Jewish engagement takes place in the 21st century. We are proud to have such dedicated, visionary supporters as yourselves. We are proud of Jewish wisdom that remains as relevant and fresh today as it was 30 years ago, 300 years ago, and 3,000 years ago. We are proud to be a people who have adapted to every age and who have illuminated every culture that we have inhabited. And we are proud to be able to tell the children of tomorrow that we will always be here on your wavelength to work with you and your parents to allow you to taste the wisdom, beauty, and depth of your heritage, and empower you to play your role to carry the torch of Judaism on into the future. So now, can I please invite you to join me on a journey through a virtual exhibition of Aish UK. Thank you all so very much.
A lot of people feel like giving up on young British Jews. A lot of people say that they're not don't want to be engaged, they'll never be engaged, they're not interested, they're apathetic. We believe that's almost heretical. We believe it's just untrue, and that Jews will be engaged and do want to engage if somebody will reach out in the right way. And that means being non-judgmental, it means being there on their turf, it means engaging intellectually, it means being able to reach the person who just wants to see what Judaism says to them in their own struggles in life. It means being able to engage intellectually with the person who says, I'm fascinated about big questions in life. It means being there in everybody's language where they want to engage.
My Jewish background is I grew up in a traditional home in Elstree. I went to Habs and then I went on to study medicine in Cambridge. So I think the first time that I approached Jewish learning seriously, when I was at university and learning with some of the Aish educators, I found it very satisfying. I felt that there was a very deep sense of intellectual satisfaction to having a question and having quite a sophisticated, multi-layered answer to it available. One of the big choices that I had to make as I got more interested is, what did I want my life to look like? What did I want my wife to be like? And sometimes I think, who were the great-great-grandparents or the great-grandparents who were there, who were sitting and studying, and I sort of wonder what their lives were like and where they came from and what they learned and what their sort of Jewish interests were. I sort of hope that this will be a strong link in the chain, and my children and my children's children will also be able to sort of continue it.
If there's 30 or 40,000 young Jews in this country, then there are 30 or 40,000 different Jewish pathways, different Jewish journeys. And there are also tens of thousands of Jewish families. Each one has its own unique journey and own unique pathway. We want to be able to play a part in helping the families ensure their own continuity and helping each one of those 30 or 40,000 Jews find their pathway and their ability to shine and grow.
In my current job, I travel around the world and I'm engaged in lots of different organisations, and I have to say that Aish's passion, its professionalism, is amongst the top organisations I've seen around the world. The programmes that they put on, the reach, I'm not sure if people are aware how many different programmes have sprung from Aish.
And it's like a buffet. You offer the buffet and people come and people really take from it. And the heritage that we have has so much to offer. We're talking about, literally on a weekly basis, at least 2,000 people every week up and down the country. We're talking about school kids, we're talking about university students, we're talking about young professional programs.
Hi, my name's Glenn Keller. I went on Aish first 15 years ago when I was 25. Opportunity came up to go to New York and I signed up. It was the first New York trip Aish had done, and that really changed my life. To see New York, where Judaism is not hidden away like it tends to be in England, where people are proud to be Jewish, there's kosher restaurants in Times Square, it's very much out there, and people are proud of that, made it clear to me that you can be Jewish in the modern world in a way that wasn't at odds with the modern world. So before, I really wasn't at all affiliated to Judaism. I'd been brought up not in a Jewish community. We lived in the countryside, and me and my brother were the only Jewish children in our school. We didn't have any Jewish friends. We did have a bar mitzvah, but after age 13, pretty much didn't do anything Jewish at all. At university, I didn't even join the Jewish Society. It just wasn't a thing that even occurred to me, to be honest. I was, not dating Jewish girls, and so it really was, a 180 change. So I realised that somewhere inside me there was this Jewish spark that made sense, and there was a destiny, a path that I should be walking on that I wasn't, and at that point I decided to get on that path. Today I live in Boreham Wood. I married an Israeli wife who moved to England. I've got 3 children at a Jewish school. I go to synagogue. I wouldn't have it any other way. It's exactly what I know is right for me, but I was so close to not having that, and that's, it's scary. It's one of the key parts that now defines me and how I live, and I owe that all to Aish.
For us, partnerships are really crucial, and that's partnerships with parents, it's partnerships with communities, it's partnerships with the greater British Jewish infrastructure, and partnerships to ensure that we aren't duplicating and that we're harmonising and complementing the effort of all others as well.
One of the most important issues I think we face today is being able to do whatever we can to reduce the rate of intermarriage. And the more we can do together to make sure that we keep our children, our grandchildren Jewish is so important. The work that I see most closely of Aish is where you're working within our communities. And we have many of your Aish families, rabbis, rebbetzins, and workers generally working with us, working in our communities. And they do have a superb impact.
We have a reach and scope that is, thank God, enormous, and that's because there's Jews all over the country. And we'll work with the schools, the Jewish schools often servicing their informal departments. We'll work in non-Jewish schools running lunch and learn programs or working with the local Jewish societies. We're in about 21 schools on pretty much a weekly basis.
Our community is blessed with a wonderful cross-section of schools, all of whom are excellent. And one of the great skills that Aish has is his ability to engage with children in all of these schools and being able to enter and work in the schools together with the leadership of the school and following the ethos and direction set by the governors of those schools. When looking at the education of our children, and particularly Jewish education, I think that there are three critical areas. One of them is the academic development, the textual studies, then there is the general knowledge. But perhaps above all is the Jewish identity, the importance of understanding who we are. And in that regard, the work that Aish does to supplement the academic studies within the schools is crucial. And the outcomes that we see from children who are inspired by their studies and interested in perpetuating their Judaism is a testament to the work of Aish.
I would say that I come from a secular background. I knew what Shabbat was, but we didn't really do it. I knew that people did something on a Friday night, but we didn't really do much. I found this Aish trip to go to South Africa, and a lot of my friends were going to Magaluf and Zante and all these clubbing holidays, and I just saw an opportunity to go and see South Africa, and it was just the most amazing trip, and I was exposed to a lot of things I didn't know existed and things that I could see myself having in my life too.
They have welcomed us into the family like their own. It's been very difficult because I drive, I smoke, I turn up at their house, I do everything that I shouldn't be doing, and they don't look at me any differently from anybody else.
The relationship with my mother is a lot better than it was.
I've become extremely close to her, and I need to say it was all to do with Aish that brought us together again, because they were supportive, they cared about us, they got me involved. When I do go to Aish, it's like one big huge family, and they make every single child feel so special. And I love them to bits, to be honest. I don't know what would have happened if Daniela didn't go to Aish, where she would have gone, which way she would have gone, because a lot of her friends went a completely different way.
It's the follow-up that's there, and the care, and
it's the love they give as well. I mean, even at Rabbi Merfield's on Saturday,
we went for second night
Seder, and honestly, normally I'm asleep at a Seder. He made it so special to every single person in that room. I just want to say to Aish, all the Aish rabbis and all the wives of the rabbis, I want to thank you so much for looking after my beautiful daughter and making her feel so welcome into your very big family.
I would like to just thank you, Aish, for the endless opportunities that I've had growing up, and I wouldn't be living the dream of New York City in a job that is based all around giving back to the Jewish communities. So thank you very much for the opportunities. Thank you for the hospitality, endless hospitality. Thank you very much. I'm forever indebted.
Statistics and numbers are great, but what statistics and numbers just mean is the reach is huge. But what is actually happening with that reach is that story after story, individual after individual, young person after young person is standing up and saying, I'm going to play my role in a 3,300-year journey. I'm going to be a part of it, and my children are going to be a part of it, and their children are going to be a part of it. It's grandparents looking with pride at their weddings and the great-grandchildren and future generations that are standing forward. It's spanning the breadth of the whole of Jewish history, from the moment of its inception all the way through decades and centuries of challenges, and saying we're going to be a part of that incredible future.
It's a particular pleasure to be working with Rabbi Rowe, who's now leading Aish. And he works very closely with the United Synagogue, and I'm so grateful for everything he's doing for the community, and I think there is so much more we can do together.
The success that Aish achieves is very much built on the individuals within the organisation, and you have managed to collect a group of superstars, and the opportunities that schools have to be able to bring those educators into the schools and watch how children can engage with them is a real credit to your organisation.
Aish is inspiring the next generation of givers, and without Aish and this next generation, I don't know where our community will be.
I feel so deeply that we really together we can build a brighter Jewish future.
At this point, it's common, almost customary, to ask people to think about the number that they walked in with and to increase it or double it. I'm not going to do that. But I am going to offer you my pledge instead, that we are going to work tirelessly, day and night, to increase our efforts on your behalf, and we will try all that we can to magnify our reach and our impact. In a few moments, we'll all join together, a room full of amazing hearts and fantastic givers, to play our part in making a difference to the lives of our young people. But I want to pledge to you that whatever you stretch to tonight, we will more than match your efforts in our dedication and commitment, for we believe there can be no greater cause and nothing more worthwhile to work for. Thank you all so much for your kindness, your generosity, and your commitment to the future.